Hello, and welcome to my sketchbook tour. So this is my most recent sketchbook that I've completed. I started it in March of 2019 and completed it right at the end of April in 2020. So a little bit more than a year passed wherein I was filling this sketchbook. I do want to apologize right off. I'm not filming this on my tripod because I tried to do so and couldn't find a way to accommodate both the landscape and the portrait orientation of this sketchbook. It is 5 inches by 8 inches in length, and because of that, some of the pieces require that I open the whole thing, and to film both the landscape and the portrait orientation on my desk just wasn't working. So the video for this might be shaky, and again, I do apologize for that. But we're just going to work with it as we can and hope for the best. I don't know that I already mentioned this or not, but this is the Pentalic Watercolor Sketchbook. Like I said, it's the 5 by 8 inch size. It has a leather cover, and it was a really enjoyable sketchbook to work in. The paper quality is very nice. It has this elastic closure, as well as this ribbon for keeping your place. And then finally it has this little tab so that you can keep a pencil or other drawing utensils in there. So jumping right into the artwork in this sketchbook, the first page that we come to, I marked off the date that I started and finished the sketchbook. And prior to CraftyCrandall, my Instagram name was actually Sabrina Crandall Art, so that's why that's there. And as we can see, my first piece here was actually a silhouette of your standard instruments for a band with the term rock on, also masked out with these paint splatters in the background. So I really liked this piece. I am very content with this as a first page of my sketchbook. I think that it really captures the essence of what I was trying to do. So I was happy with this piece. The next piece that we have here is another kind of along those same veins. It has the silhouetted writing, and I just really wanted to try to capture a really distinct foreground. And I was illustrating the song Sunrise by Brandon Heath. The chorus of that song starts, "All you need is a sunrise." And it's just a really encouraging song. If you have never heard it, I really encourage you to go and listen to it. And this is just the piece that I created for that song. Similarly, this was for the Switchfoot song, Your Love is a Song. I really love Switchfoot. Again, Switchfoot, Brandon Heath, both great artists. And I was trying to be a little bit more experimental with my style, but I don't think it really worked out. I don't love this piece. I think I really like the texture of the violin. I think that turned out very well, but the whole composition just really kind of needed work. Now we'll see this throughout this sketchbook. At various points throughout the sketchbook, I ended up painting different album artwork. So this is 10th Avenue North, The Struggle, and Yellow Cards Lift a Sail. I just literally copied their album art using paint. I find that doing this really helps me kind of get used to my paint. It kind of opens me up to try something new without actually having to come up with a unique concept. So the design is already there. All I have to do is recreate it using watercolor. Now here is a sketch that I was doing. I was actually trying to illustrate a character from a novel that I had read, and let's just say it didn't turn out very well. However, I mean, that's what a sketchbook is for, really, right? Just to try things out and to, get your ideas out on paper. So I'm not mad about it. I just don't think that these necessarily turned out as well as they could have. Moving on, we have one of my favorite pieces. So the song Colors Collide by Blue October is just a phenomenal song. I had this idea in my head when I was listening to the song, and I 100% had to put it onto paper. So I don't love how the background colors look. I think that, you know, if I were to reapproach this painting now, I would do it a lot better. However, even with the odd coloring in the background, I really love this piece, and I think it does a really great job of illustrating the concepts behind the song. After that, we get into more album artwork. So 10 Years Feeding the Wolves, Anne Boleyn New Surrender, Philip Phillips Behind the Light, and Disturbed's Evolution. These are all lovely albums. I really enjoy them all. And the inspiration behind this piece was really this Feeding the Wolves cover. I don't know who did the artwork for 10 Years, but like, seriously, it's amazing. I absolutely love this album art, and I would love to be able to paint as loosely as that style, but unfortunately I cannot yet. Anne Boleyn New Surrender is an album that I have really enjoyed throughout my entire life, so I really love this album. I love this album art. I think that I did a decent job here recreating the album art. And then these two I'm not as happy with, but you know, it is what it is. You can't be happy with every single art piece that you create. Just getting the mileage in really kind of helps get better. So the fact that I painted them at all helped me get better in some way. The next piece in this sketchbook is my take on the Get Back Up artwork. So Get Back Up is a documentary that was released by one of my favorite bands, Blue October. And I believe I did this piece on the day that it was announced that there were shows that we could go to see the documentary being released in person. And I was extremely excited about that. And I made this painting. What I was trying to do here is that technique where you outline your splatters with the color. So this is actually watercolor and just colored pencil here. And while I don't think it turned out fantastic, I do really like this technique, so I would like to try to use it again in a different piece. This next piece is just a little sketch of an armadillo here. I got some new gouache paint, so I really wanted to try it out, and an armadillo happened to be an animal that I saw and was inspired by. I don't love how this piece came out, but I am always working on my gouache techniques, so I think this helped me get mileage in there. Similarly, this piece is a train wreck, and I almost covered it up so that it wouldn't be visible in this sketchbook tour. However, I just really wanted to talk about how sketchbooks are meant for you to make mistakes. They're meant for you to try things, experiment with your artwork, and make mistakes. So honestly, if I were to exclude this from the sketchbook and show you only my best pieces of art, I don't think that that actually illustrates what I believe a sketchbook is for. So I decided to keep this piece in here so that you could see what it looks like when I try something and it utterly fails. So I believe what I was actually trying to do here is create this scene without any lining at all, and then it didn't work. The water control really got out of hand here, and then I didn't know how to fix it, so it's just awful. Moving on from that atrocity to a piece that I actually really like. This is Place Music, which is a band started by Ryan Delahousie, who is my favorite music artist. He is the violinist for Blue October, and this is just a piece for his band that he started as a side project. So I really like how this one came out. And then we have more album art. So I've got I the Mighty, Hearts and Spades, Rivers and Robots, The Great Light, Anchor and Braille. I'm not positive what this album is called. And then Daughtry, Cage to Rattle. So again, great albums all around. I love this album to death, and I love this album artwork to death. This was so much fun to paint. Anchor and Braille, led by Stephen Christian of Anne Berlin. Like, phenomenal artist. Whoever painted this, 10 out of 10, love it. The Rivers and Robots piece actually was a lot of fun as well, because I used some ballpoint pen on top of my watercolor, and I really love how this one came out as well. So very happy with this page. So this next piece was actually, I think, quite a bit of time after the last one. I kind of stopped using this sketchbook for a little while and then went back to it. So this piece was actually painted in front of the lake. I actually live right by Lake Ontario. So this is a piece that I painted outside by the lake, and it was a lot of fun. I think this is the closest I've ever come to adequately replicating what the water really looks like. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, but it's definitely the best I've ever done. So I was really happy with this piece. Unfortunately for this next piece, I was not very happy with the outcome. I was driving home and I saw this scene and really wanted to paint it. Unfortunately, I did a terrible job at replicating what the scene actually looked like, because I mean, it was just this gorgeous sunset. Like, it's indescribably gorgeous, and this painting is somewhat of a mess. I don't think that I understood how to make the colors of the clouds saturated and the background desaturated enough, so it's a mess. But again, that's what sketchbooks are for. I tried. This next piece is just a really simple flamingo. I kind of just wanted to try, I think again, this one was like a lightly lined piece, and I really wanted to try to establish the shadows of the feathers. I don't think it's a great piece by any means, but again, getting my mileage in. This was a drawing that I had meant to paint in, but I never actually did. This is obviously a sketch of the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. It didn't come out the way that I wanted it to, so I never finished it. This next piece is a piece from Rachel Platten's song Better Place. It is a depiction of the song's chorus, and I meant to paint this and actually finish it, but I ended up coming up with a better way to depict the song, so I never actually finished it here in the sketchbook. I finished it on a card, actually. Some more album artwork. Like I said, you'll see a lot of that in the sketchbook. This is obviously Taylor Swift's album Lover, and this is Clint Lowry's album Renegades. I love how both of these came out, and I love how they kind of contrast with each other, in that she's got the really girly, super like fun pastel colors, and then this piece has just like muted, blank, desaturated colors. This composition, I really like how these both turned out, and I'm happy that I chose to do both of these albums right next to each other. This is by far one of my favorite pieces that I've done. It's not my favorite in the sketchbook, however, it is my favorite piece. As far as like the music art that I did and letting go, I am so proud of what I've done. This is a quote from the song Razorblade by Blue October. I love how this came out, and I'm just really happy with it. I encourage you to go listen to the song. It is a very good one. This is by far the most complex piece in this sketchbook. So actually, let me turn it this way, and I'll give you a pan of the whole thing. And then I will turn it so that you can see the whole thing at once. So this is my PRS SE guitar. I painted the whole thing and am so happy with how this piece turned out. I really love, I love this guitar, first of all, and I love painting this guitar. This is actually the second time that I've painted this guitar, and honestly, it probably won't be the last. So there you have it. That's my guitar. It is, oh, if you're curious, this is a Zach Myers PRS SE guitar. This is a piece that I did from one of my coworkers. She runs an Etsy shop called Wild Country Crafts. I am so inspired by her just attention to detail, and the way that she arranges flowers is just really phenomenal. So she ended up raffling off one of her wreaths at an event that we went to, and I ended up winning. So I actually have this wreath hanging in my house. I really love it. It just brings a smile to my face every time I look at it, and so I decided to paint it. The Outsiders. So this is obviously a piece that is replicating the Outsiders album art by Need to Breathe. This was done on the day that Bo Reinhardt announced that he was no longer going to be with the band Need to Breathe, which was a very sad day, but I absolutely love this album art, and I am pretty sure that he was the artist for it. So not only is he an astonishing artist, but also just a phenomenal musician. So I highly recommend you go check him out. I believe his Instagram handle is Bo Reinhardt 3, but I will leave the link down below in the description as well. This was kind of a failed concept. So I want to do a series of birds wherein I do an outline of the bird and then I paint in like the season that it represents. Obviously, penguin is winter, and I love penguins. So this piece did not come out as well as I wanted it to, but again, not too mad about it. Getting my mileage in and just, you know, continuing to get better every time I paint. This is the last piece in this sketchbook. This is for the song Vultures by Icarus Bell. Icarus Bell is yet another spin-off from a Blue October member, Matt Nevesky, along with Alski. They started a band called Icarus Bell, and their first song release was Vultures. I don't believe this is a single yet for purchase on any of the major music streaming services. However, if you go check them out on their Instagram, you can go and see or go and hear a clip of this song on their page. So I highly recommend that you go and do that. And I'm not going to flip the last page because on the last page I actually have a note from a friend. So I keep it in here for safekeeping. And with that, that is my sketchbook tour. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this little look into my more recent art. I do plan on doing an old art sketchbook tour, so if you're interested in that, please let me know down in the comments. I have a couple of different sketchbooks that I could use for that, but I'm not sure yet if I will compile them all into one video or just, you know, use them sparingly and go through them sporadically throughout the years. So let me know if you're interested in that down below. Again, thank you so much for following along in this sketchbook tour. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more art and bookish content. And I will catch you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.